Billions of dollars can vanish without a trace, like magic. But this isn't a magician's illusion. This is real life, with devastating consequences. Welcome to the 1MDB scandal, a mind-bending tale of corruption, deceit, and stolen fortunes that sounds like it was ripped straight from a Hollywood thriller. But here's the twist. Hollywood wasn't just a spectator, it was part of the story. This is not a fiction. This is 1MDB, a tangled web of deceit that sent shockwaves across the world, exposing the dark underbelly of international finance, politics, and power. In the heart of Southeast Asia, Malaysia was experiencing an economic boom. The One Malaysia Development Berhad Fund, better known as 1MDB, is a sovereign wealth fund established in 2009. It was designed to be the engine of Malaysia's economic transformation. It aimed to finance strategic infrastructure projects, create jobs, and stimulate economic growth. The fund's coffers were intended to be filled with government investments, creating a pool of wealth that would propel Malaysia into a new era of prosperity, and cementing the country's position as a regional powerhouse. However, from the outset, concerns lingered about transparency and accountability within the fund. The inner workings of 1MDB remained shrouded in secrecy. Decision-making power concentrated in the hands of a select few, including individuals with close ties to the ruling political party. Little did the Malaysian people know that the fund, envisioned as a beacon of progress, would soon become embroiled in one of the most audacious financial scandals in history. At the heart of the scandal, Jho Low, a mysterious playboy financier with a taste for luxury and an appetite for power. Low's connections to the highest echelons of power, particularly his close relationship with Prime Minister Najib Razak's stepson, Riza Aziz, gave him unparalleled access and influence within the Malaysian government. He positioned himself as a key advisor to the fund, using his influence to steer investment decisions and secure deals. The fund's money, intended for national development, began flowing into questionable ventures, many of which bore the hallmarks of Low's involvement. 1MDB's early investments raised eyebrows within Malaysia's financial circles. One of the first red flags emerged from a joint venture between 1MDB and PetroSaudi International, a private Saudi Arabian oil company. The deal, shrouded in secrecy, involved 1MDB investing a staggering $1 billion in the venture, with the promise of lucrative returns from oil exploration projects. However, questions soon arose about the true nature of PetroSaudi's operations and the whereabouts of the invested funds. Investigative journalists and whistleblowers began uncovering irregularities, alleging that a significant portion of the money had been siphoned off into offshore accounts controlled by Jho Low and his associates. Despite the mounting evidence and growing public concern, the Malaysian government remained tight-lipped, dismissing the allegations as politically motivated attacks. Undeterred by the scrutiny, 1MDB continued its spending spree, engaging in a series of increasingly questionable investments. The fund acquired power plants at inflated prices, purchased luxury real estate in prime locations around the world. Each deal seemed to follow a similar pattern: opaque transactions, shell companies, and a trail leading back to Jho Low and his network of enablers. Central to Jho Low's scheme was his relationship with Goldman Sachs, the Wall Street giant. Leveraging his connections and charm, Low cultivated a close relationship with Tim Leissner, a high-ranking Goldman Sachs executive in Asia. The partnership proved mutually beneficial, at least in the short term. Goldman Sachs underwrote a series of bond offerings for 1MDB, raising billions of dollars for the fund, while earning hefty fees for the bank. However, a significant portion of these funds never made it to their intended destinations. Instead, they were allegedly diverted into offshore accounts controlled by Jho Low, Tim Leissner, and other co-conspirators. The bond offerings were structured in a complex and opaque manner, making it difficult to track the flow of funds and concealing the kickbacks and illicit payments being made. Internal controls at Goldman Sachs, designed to prevent money laundering and other financial crimes, seem to have failed spectacularly. With each successful bond offering, Jho Low's wealth and influence grew. Low's extravagant spending habits, which included luxury yachts, private jets, and high-end art, made headlines around the world. Whistleblowers within the Malaysian government and financial industry began sharing information with journalists and international authorities, risking their careers and personal safety to expose the truth about 1MDB. From Malaysia to Hollywood, the money trail begins. The money trail from 1MDB snaked its way through a labyrinth of shell companies, offshore accounts, and complex financial transactions, making it difficult for investigators to follow. However, as the scandal unfolded, a clearer picture began to emerge, revealing the extent of Jho Low's alleged involvement and the global reach of his schemes. One of the most audacious examples of 1MDB funds being misappropriated involved the Hollywood film production company Red Granite Pictures. Riza Aziz, Prime Minister Najib Razak's stepson and Jho Low's close confidant, co-founded Red Granite Pictures, which went on to produce several Hollywood films, including the critically acclaimed The Wolf of Wall Street. U.S. authorities alleged that Red Granite Pictures was used as a conduit to launder millions of dollars siphoned from 1MDB. Investigations revealed that over $4.5 billion was misappropriated from 1MDB, and the investigation into 1MDB became a global pursuit. Financial institutions in the United States, Switzerland, Singapore, and other global financial hubs were implicated in the scandal, highlighting the challenges of combating cross-border financial crime. The long arm of the law, often slow and grinding, eventually began to catch up with some of the key players in the 1MDB saga. The US DOJ, alleging that Goldman Sachs had bribed foreign officials and engaged in other corrupt practices, slapped the bank with a hefty fine, totaling billions of dollars. Individuals within Goldman Sachs, those who had orchestrated or facilitated the deals, were also held accountable. Tim Leissner, the former Goldman Sachs executive who had cultivated a close relationship with Jho Low, pleaded guilty to money laundering and foreign bribery charges, agreeing to cooperate with authorities in exchange for a potentially reduced sentence. Najib Razak was found guilty on multiple charges related to the 1MDB scandal. For the first time, a sitting prime minister had been toppled by a corruption scandal and held accountable for his actions. While Najib Razak faced justice in Malaysia, Jho Low, the alleged mastermind behind the 1MDB scheme, vanished, becoming an international fugitive, a ghost haunting the halls of international finance. Despite being the subject of an Interpol red notice and facing charges in multiple countries, Low continued to evade capture, his whereabouts a mystery. Billions are still missing, hidden in a web of shell companies and luxury assets. The quest to reclaim these funds is a global treasure hunt. The 1MDB story is about greed, ambition, and the dark side of globalization. It underscores the fragility of democratic institutions and the need for vigilance. The fight against corruption is a constant struggle demanding our attention and action. What steps do you think are most effective in combating corruption within governmental systems? Write in the comments.